Welcome, welcome, welcome. You're in the right place at the right time. Today is Wednesday and it is 12 noon. And this is a Street News Now news report. And I am so happy that you guys decided to drop in and check out what's going on the noon report. We got some interesting stuff to talk about today. Hopefully, our legend will join us today when he gets a moment to drop in. I know he's got a rant. He's always got a rant about something, and we're looking forward to hearing about it. Well, before I get started, I always have to encourage each and every person that listens to me to go out and get a mentor. I've had a mentor for 30 plus years, and Dr. Hunt has been with me for that time and has been a blessing to both me and my family. And because he has been a blessing to both me and my family, I encourage people to get a mentor. Mentors can help you during situations and hard times when you least expect it. They'll be there for you. So I encourage you to go out and get a mentor. So now my number one subject today, starting off topic today, I ran across this a couple of times during the course of the week, and I really didn't pay it any attention. But then today I was looking at it and I said, you know what? This is crazy. This is some of the craziest stuff that I've ever seen. In Harvey, which is a suburb south of the city of Chicago, they have had a food manager, the lady that runs the kitchen and all of those kind of things. She has been arrested on this week and she's at the age of 66, and she's accused of stealing $1.5 million worth of food from the school district. And the thing that makes this an interesting story is they accuse her of saying that most of that food was in chicken wings. Okay. $1.5 million worth of chicken wings? Really? Come on now. I don't think that they can prove that she stole all them chicken wings that they're accusing her of, because if she's a food manager, the reason why they discovered it is because they said that she was over budget $300,000 for this year already, and then they just want to accuse her of something. The lady's 66 years old. Now she might have took a couple of pans of chicken wings home on occasion, but $1.5 million worth? Oh man. I don't know. I think she's a scapegoat for some other big person that's in the budget chain or handling the money chain that's actually been stealing the money a whole lot more than she has. Okay. But that's just my opinion. I just don't see this lady plotting to steal all this food from the school district when they probably don't even pay her the way that they should be paying her in the first place. So, uh, interesting, something to make you think about, you know. Now, I want to talk about the Super Bowl that's coming up. We've got down to the final two teams. Hold on just a second here. I'm trying to get over there. Coming up in a couple of weeks, we've got Super Bowl coming up with Kansas City Chiefs and the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, this is an interesting team because Kansas City had trouble in the last couple of years getting past Cincinnati, but they 4 times in a row they got beat by Cincinnati. Well, Cincinnati finally got beat by Kansas City. Now, Philadelphia rolled over their opponent real easily with no problem. But I think it's going to be a very interesting game. They're billing it as two black quarterbacks being in the Super Bowl against one another. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game. If you enjoy football, get you some chicken wings. You know, too bad the lady can't help you with some of them chicken wings that she got in her freezer. but get you some chicken wings because that's Super Bowl Sunday is the highest selling chicken wing day out there. They sell more chicken wings on Super Bowl Sunday than any other day of the year. Now, that's a statistic that I pulled down quite some time ago. So interesting enough, it's going to be a day full of fun, family get together, lots of friends get together on Super Bowl Sunday and they enjoy the day. It's a day of fun. So enjoy yourself, be safe. It's kind of like a holiday, like Thanksgiving. All holidays in my family, I always say it's a good holiday if nobody went to jail and nobody died. That's something to always mark a good holiday. Okay. So if you are a sports fan, you can always go check out the Super Bowl coming up in 2 weeks. It's going to be played in 2 weeks. So they're going to be having the Super Bowl in February the 12th, 2023. They're playing at State Farm Stadium. Okay. Halftime entertainment will be Rihanna. There you go. You got all the information. Glendale, Arizona. So, and check it out. Enjoy it. Get you a big screen TV and go to your friend's house and enjoy the day. Okay. Something else I want to talk about on today. We got to slide politics in there some kind of way. So one of the things that I want to talk about is not George Santos, but Santos, the governor Santos of Florida. On this week, he was talking about, um, you know, banning all education in the state of Florida dealing with critical race theory. Now, George Santos, just bit off a whole pile of mess when he did that because you can't stop people from wanting to know the tragedies and the atrocities that have taken place in this country by Europeans. This country was built on the back of Europeans. And for him to just attack this particular education, history about what happened to brown skinned people, African Americans, Indians, indigenous people, this country owes them more than what they're willing to pay them. But then to deny that it happened and try not to teach it, sweep it under a rug, it's not going to fly. And I was listening to another local news agency, and they were talking about, Governor Santos only has popularity in the state of Florida. Nobody in the Republican Party is trying to follow his lead on anything. We also know that the former President Trump lives in Florida. So I'm sure they're hanging out together and he's, really doing some stupid stuff in relationship to what he thinks the leader of the Republican Party would want. So I know that there has been an outcry and an uproar in the state of Florida against him pushing this criteria about we're not going to fund education or any institution that is trying to teach critical race theory. And there was some other things included in that. But the one that caught my eye was critical race theory. Critical race theory is definitely something that they should make part of the curriculum and teach it right. Educate people on how to teach what happened. It's history. And African Americans, blacks, brown, whatever you go by this week, colored, they're entitled to know the history of what happened to them in this country. Okay. And around the world. It's not just limited to this country, but from around the world. When Europeans arrived here, there were people living here. They've literally made indigenous people, the Indians, extinct. There are many tribes that don't even exist anymore because of the attack of calling them savages and wiping them off the face of the earth. So now, oh well, they don't exist anymore, so we can just take over their land. You know, it was interesting. In October of last year, I was in Washington State, where I was there with a singing group. I'm sorry, a singing group from Zimbabwe, South Africa, and they paid homage to the indigenous people before the show. They said, "Look, we want to say that the land that we're on was the home of this tribe that no longer is here. Some of them are there, they're on the way back." And they acknowledged them. They were remorseful in what their ancestors had done, and were doing their part to pay I'm sorry, to say I'm sorry. Okay, we did it. I'm sorry. We're not trying to be ignoring the fact that our history was part of them being almost extinct. So if that was something that carried out throughout the country, that would be at least acknowledging that, hey, our ancestors screwed up. Okay. They came over here and they did some things that we ain't too proud of. So how can we all make this up? And that's what the attitude of this country should be. And Governor Santos does not have that on his agenda at all. Not at all. Um, so hey, speaking of a Santos, let's talk about the other one. Pressure is coming down on Congressman Santos because the state of Florida, I'm sorry, the state of New York, Long Island is requesting that he step down. They want him to resign. He has recently just resigned from all committee posts. The pressure is closing in on him. They have found him in so many lies and so many situations where everything that has came out of his mouth was a lie, you know. So they are closing in on him. I believe that it's going to be inevitable that he's going to have to leave Washington in disgrace. And all of the Republicans that supported him and have honored him by giving him an appointment should be ashamed, because there's no reason for them to have given him an appointment and even sworn him in. I know lying in government has become socially acceptable, but the people still have a say so. No, it's not okay to lie, to misrepresent, to get yourself elected into a position. One of the things that he has said was that, hey, I will serve my term and not run again. Well, the whole objective in serving his term was to be able to get a retirement. That was the whole reason why he wanted to get into government in the first place, because he'll get a retirement, a pension, just by serving one term. Now I hope that he gets a jail cell, because you cannot misrepresent yourself to the people and the people not get upset about it. And that's one of the things that has been going on in this scenario, is that the people are upset about it. We're going to take a moment here to the show. He said, wait, okay. So we're going to wait. But our fearless leader, Mr. Lee Michaels, the founder of Street News Now, is coming into the studio. I just saw him pop in a minute ago, but he's not quite completely ready yet. We'll get him in a second here. But yes, the people are speaking up in the state of New York, in Long Island, and they're totally upset about the things that he said to get himself elected. So I am, glad that people have spoken up, and all of the vetting process in the state of New York has to be revamped, and now should be ready to put a real elected official in. Welcome to the show, my brother and mentor, Mr. D. Michaels.
What's up, Dr. Ron?
How you doing, sir?
I had a little trouble getting in, but I'm here.
Yeah, well, you look the same as last week. Same place, same time, same location
In the house.
in the house. Yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah. I was just talking about both Santoses, the governor and the congressman elect. Well, he's in there now. He just resigned from his committee post. Talking about the governor, made a big deal about uh,
Mm.
critical race theory. He's not going to spend any state funds to help educational institutions in the state of Florida. And I, the thing about that was I heard a group of people say that the only reason he makes the statement he wants national popular in the state of Florida, and people don't pay no attention outside of the state of Florida. And now he's getting some press by doing that. So just kind of doing the recap of this week's tragedies in politics. And I got one more to cover, which I know you've got great commentary, but did you want to talk about either one of those two Santoses?
Well, yeah. Um, as it relates to Georgie Porgy putting in pie, poke him in the eye, hope he die.
Oh, you done went to
I
nursery
could,
rhymes on him.
I couldn't come up with a better rhyme. I guess my inside my mind is speaking loud and clear. But listen, this guy is a complete fraud. The state of New York and the people who voted for him ought to be embarrassed because he hoodwinked everybody.
Right,
He straight up lied, made up, fabricated everything. The people who voted for him did not vote for the guy that he claimed to be because
right,
it's a fraud. So that by itself, he should be ousted. And the Republican Party is too chicken shit because they're playing politics and they're afraid of losing one measly vote. If your if your party is that weak, you know what? What good are you? What good are you if you're worried about losing one vote? Is there nobody in the state of New York or in that district that can run and win? Is that what you're afraid of? You're afraid that you're going to lose another seat to a Democrat? Guess what, folks?
reality.
Exactly. How you doing, partner?
Yeah,
The
reality.
reality is politics is in front of what's good for the people in this country. And
Well,
it's time for that to end, period. And get rid of this clown, this media pimp. As far as I'm concerned, he must be Donald Trump's first cousin because they're all the same. And the same thing with that jackass governor in Florida.
well,
Same thing.
they're
He's pimping.
closing in on him. They're closing him. He resigned from his committee post. So we know, that the
That's not
noose
good
is
enough.
tight. The noose is tightening around his neck. Talking about the congressman from the representative from New York, Long Island, and
Yep.
they're requesting that he resign. So the voters have spoken. They don't want to have nothing to do with him. So the noose is very much tightening around his neck. It's almost over for him.
Yeah. They say 78% of the people that voted for him are saying they don't want him. So, I mean, what percentage is he looking for? And more importantly, uh, what's his name? The Speaker of the House.
Exactly.
He's still standing behind him because all he's concerned about is a little chicken shit
His little
ass.
vote. Yeah,
Right.
his little vote.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it.
So they announced today that it'll probably be a special election in New York to see who's going to. They're going to assign a candidate from the Democrat and the
Mhm.
Republican side to see who's actually going to take that seat in the special election. So, it's in the works. And his whole objective, and I just said this a second ago, all he wanted to do was get in there, serve a term so that he can have a pension. That was it. I mean,
Well,
his
I think that's
his
probably
roommate,
one
you
of the
know,
benefits, but the other benefit is he figured he got to where he is by lying, stealing, and cheating. And listen, those characteristics of a person don't go away. They stay and they continue and they get bigger and bigger and bigger. And look, we our former president did the same damn thing. So
absolutely. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
would hope that the American people have had enough of liars, cheaters, stealers, and listen, the Republican Party, local, state, and federal, need to vet their candidates. The same thing with the Democrats.
Hmm.
You need to vet these people when they stand up and say, "Hey, I want to run." Okay, show me your credentials. Give me your resume, and then somebody, a group of people, need to vet this person before they can even get behind them.
Right.
Before they say, okay, you're going to be our candidate, they need to vet these people, make sure they are who they say they are, and they're squeaky clean.
Um,
Otherwise, we're going to continue to have this problem because there'll be another criminal that will stand up and do the same thing because this jackrabbit got away with it.
yeah. And unfortunately, everything that he said, they took it to be true. And it was too good to be true because it ain't true.
Nothing that came out of his pie hole is true.
It's not true. Everything that he said was a lie,
Yeah.
so and it's unfortunate, the vetting process. Let's talk about that for just a second. The vetting process in politics has always been the same, and I'm just going to use on a presidential basis. There were many candidates that threw their hat in the presidential race, and during the process of them beginning to slate themselves or go through the process for the national committees to choose that person, the skeletons in their closet would, come out, and they would eliminate themselves, you know, because they're like, okay, well, we can't get behind you because, you was sleeping with your wife and the babysitter, you know, and and that's a true story. It was a
Yeah.
couple of candidates that thought they could squeak past because, well, she wasn't, underage, but me and my wife liked the babysitter, so they weren't allowed to run,
It's a family affair.
because of that. But that's usually what happens
Yeah.
when they do the deep dive, and that deep dive is just that,
Well,
you
they're not
know.
diving at all, Dr. Ron. That's the problem.
Well, they didn't
They're
on this
they're
guy.
taking it for face value, and
They
that's
did
got to
not.
stop.
And they did not on this guy. They stopped looking after he gave his credentials and said, dun, 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 I'm Superman without the cape. You know, and they're like, oh yeah, Long Island got a Superman. Let's elect him to,
That's how
public
desperate the
office.
Republican Party was and is.
Yes.
They're not clean people. They're not
No.
in the best interest of this
Of the
country.
people.
That's
Of
right.
the people.
It's
Now,
just like this thing with the debt ceiling.
uh-huh.
The Republicans are already saying that no, we're not gonna raise the debt ceiling. Okay. Well, what are you going to do? What is your plan? What is your reaction, or what is your plan? You don't want to raise the debt. How are you going to make it work? They don't have a freaking answer to that. They never. How many times did they try to come up with a plan to replace Obamacare?
Never.
60 sometimes they came up with something that was not better.
Yep. Yep. They just,
They're good at saying no.
when
We
when
don't
it
want to do that.
when it's
No, we
about
don't
money
want to
for the
support our
people,
school
right?
system.
When it's
No,
about
we don't want to do
services
anything.
for the people. But when it
Right.
comes time for giving rich billionaires a tax break, oh sure, we got to give them a break. Yeah.
Of course,
Yeah.
because these candidates are bought and paid for by the lobbyists that support these big companies.
Absolutely.
Plain and simple. That in
Absolutely.
itself should be a crime. A radio disc jockey or a program director, and they don't have many music directors left in the business because it's all been shaved down. But if you take $100 to play a damn record, you're a criminal.
That's right.
Okay,
That's
so
right.
but these guys can
And
take
sent
money
people to
from,
jail.
yeah,
Sent.
and listen, pharmaceutical industry pays doctors. They wine them, dine them, send them on trips. That's not illegal. Now you're gonna take care of somebody that's supposed to be giving health care to people in this country, but you can buy them off and make them prescribe your drugs,
That's right.
and your drugs may not be as good for you for the patients as another drug.
That's right.
So it's incumbent upon that doctor to make a decision. Well, pharmaceutical company A sent me and my family on a trip to Bora Bora, expenses taken care of. I got, my new office remodeled. The money came from out of the sky.
Mm-hmm.
So there's all kind of criminal activities going on in every industry,
Yep.
but
Absolutely.
they won't crack down on it because of what? Because the Congress, politicians, governors, presidents, House, Senate, local, federal, state level, on every damn level is corrupt. My
Yep.
thing is, let's clean that up. Same thing with these damn police officers. Okay?
Yes.
Same thing. There's a lot of corruption in our country, and it must end, and it needs to end right now.
Speaking of police officers, I was saving this towards the end because
I
I know
set
you
you
got
up.
a rant. Yeah, I know you had a rant, and I got a rant too. For all those that follow me on From the Desk of Dr. Ron, if you don't follow me, go follow it. The information is right there on the screen. I'm gonna need y'all to go listen to what I said about this situation in Memphis. It hurt me. I am still in pain about what I have seen and what I have heard about this situation. And, they try to equate it and compare it to Rodney King. There is no comparison. The situation with Rodney King, he did not die 3 days after they beat his butt,
Yeah.
and this young man, they jumped out on him. They pulled him out of his car. They scared the living bazooka out of him. And then they chased him down, beat him, and he died 3 days later, would not render any type of medical assistance to him. And they had medical EMTs there. And they just, man, they disgraced their badge. They disgrace their community. They disgrace their race. Why would you want to beat a black man to death? Why? And these guys, the system itself has jumped on them. Now, I give the city of Memphis all the accolades in the world to have incorporated within their checks and balances the ability to be able to correct such behavior so quickly. And one of the things about dealing with um, police brutality, this is nothing new. Police brutality has been around since the 20s and the 30s. It was not unusual for police to attack and just beat a confession out of somebody. It was not unusual for the police to just feel like they're above the law, and for them to do the things that they have been doing of late has been totally insane. They have been beating and brutalizing people. And that's why I say it's not related any kind of way you can equate this to the Rodney King beating, because the abuse that's going forward now is far more cruel than ever before. And it's hurtful to see this continuing time and time and time again. What are we going to do? What are we going to propose to do? Now, the one thing that I will say about this scenario in Memphis, and Lee and I have been talking on and off since they played the video last week. I've been monitoring Chicago. He's been monitoring New York, and we've both been monitoring internationally to see if there have been violent riots throughout the country in relationship to this scenario. And it has not been. There has been peaceful protests continuously in every major city in relationship to this scenario. And it's hurtful, and the question that I gotta ask is, what are we going to do? What are we going to do? Are we going to continue to allow them to treat us like we're not human beings? And that's the whole point. Human beings should be treated entirely different than the way they treat black offenders. Okay, they treat black offenders less than human. And I mentioned on my commentary on Saturday about this scenario is the fact that when you see a European mass murderer that get taken into custody and they extend courtesies and benefits to him like he hasn't just killed 20 people, and you find a person that hasn't killed anyone, has not broken a traffic law, have not abused any laws of the land, just afraid for his life. And then he was warranted to be afraid for his life because they treated him less than human. So yeah, I can go on about this because it makes you hurt. Go ahead, Lee.
It is. It's a shame that this young man, 28 years old, 140, 145 pounds, whatever, had to take an ass whipping from 5 punk ass cops. Yeah, I said it. You're punks. You are straight up punks. You are thugs. You acted like a gang. You beat this man damn near to death. He died 3 days later. So I say you beat him to death. I saw Dr. Sanjay saying that he probably died from the swelling of his brain because he had so many
Right.
punches to the head, with a stick, with a fist, with a kick. So his brain was swelling. When your brain swells from trauma, the skull keeps it contained, so it gets so big that it bursts.
Right.
So your brain hemorrhages and you die. What a hell of a way to die. And for what reason? There's no video, either from a dash cam, body cam, cameras up on telephone poles, security cams, ring doorbells. No video showing that this guy was recklessly driving, which the cops claim was the reason they stopped him. They snatched him out of the car. Even for reckless driving, let's assume for a second he was recklessly driving. Is that a reason to snatch a guy out of the car and just start whipping his ass? Tasing him, pepper spray, or whatever they were spraying on him? No, no. That's not the way you treat another human being.
That's right.
And that's what we've lost. We've lost the sensitivity of human life. There's no value to human life anymore, especially, and I hate saying this, when you are a person of color. If you're
Right.
Hispanic, black, or any tone to your skin, you are worth less than anybody else. And
Absolutely.
that's we are. This is America, man. This is 2023. When is this going to end? I grew up in the South. I saw, you know, racism, segregation. They didn't integrate the schools in Norfolk, Virginia until 1968. So I lived through all of this, and I don't hate anybody. Not at all. I respect all human beings. I treat everybody the same. I own a company, a limo service. I'm in the service business. I don't discriminate against anybody that gets into any of our vehicles. I treat everybody the same. You get first class treatment. I don't care if you're a one legged monkey with an afro wig on. If you pay the bucks, you're going to get a first class ride.
A one-legged monkey, bro.
But one of those multicolored ones. Yeah, I treat everybody the same.
I hear you.
I'm
I
not,
agree. I agree totally with Dale Bird, who's got a comment on the screen here. Say, yep, their policing model is based on plantation policing, which
absolutely.
is originated from the slave patrol mentality.
That's right.
Absolutely, Dale.
Del
Yep.
Burke, by the way, is my accountant. He takes care of my financial situation. So if y'all want a good accountant, contact Del Bird. If you can't find him, contact me and I'll hook you up. He's a good guy and he knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I would
Thank-
hope, I would hope in 2023 that we can accomplish the fact that we begin to rearrange the mentality of our police to the point where they begin to treat all people like human beings. And I mentioned this in my commentary on Saturday that if there had been a dog that was out of control, they would have called animal control down to deal with that animal. They wouldn't
right.
have just shot him dead on the site, on the premises. They treated a dog. They would treat a dog with much more love and respect than they treated that young man.
Yeah, because Peter will kick their ass. But Peter is
You
serious.
say Peter, huh?
Animal, advocate uh, uh, group, and they will raise pure hell. Now, isn't it a shame that we don't have groups of organizations that fight as hard as PETA for the
That's
life of,
terrible.
NAACP, Urban League, and all the others out there? They do an okay job, but you ain't raising enough hell. You're not putting a full court press on the government, local, state, and federal, to make things right for all people.
Yeah.
Listen. There once upon a time, I remember people used to say, well, we need to get more black cops. We need to get more Hispanic cops. We need to get more Asian cops. Well, we got them. We have Asian cops, we have black cops, we have Hispanic cops, but they're still the wrong ones
Yep.
because
Yeah.
they're perpetrating crime on the public that is not fair. It's wrong. It's criminal.
Yeah.
So again, we go back to that famous word. You got to vet the cops. They're so desperate to get cops. You can have a felony, and on some police departments around the country, you can get a job as a cop. Can you
Yeah.
believe that?
Yeah. Yeah. I
So they're
can.
desperate.
Yeah.
They're raising the pay. They're offering bonuses. But who in the hell wants to be a cop?
Yeah. And I heard a commentary from a young psychologist or young lady that does treatment on the brain, and she was saying that these people have a mental illness with a badge,
Mm.
you know, and they need to get treatment in order to be effective of what they're supposed to be doing. So, when you have mental illness of any kind and then you feel like you're above the law, this is the kind of stuff that you get. And that's white, black, Hispanic, or any nationality. Mental illness is a problem. I grew up with mental illness in my family. I ain't talking about me. But,
Come on,
but
parent.
huh?
Be transparent.
I might have had a little bit rub off on me, but to want to be in this business, you gotta have mental illness, okay? But at the end of the day, we got to do better. We got to want
Yeah,
better,
yeah.
and I pray my prayers go out to that family and to any family that has had to suffer police brutality and cruelty at the hands of people that we call upon for help.
It,
You
it's
know,
it's such a shame, and it breaks my heart to see another mother cry from the loss of a child or children. I mean, come on, man. Let's have some respect
absolutely,
for life, for somebody else's life, for your own damn life.
absolutely.
Something like this, you put your life in danger. Don't you have any love for yourself? And I've always believed it all starts within each individual. You got to love yourself. You got to be afraid of screwing up your life when you think about screwing up somebody else's life. So if you don't think no more of yourself than what the hell, I'm so mad I want to kill this person, go get some help.
Yeah, absolutely,
Ask for help.
absolutely.
And let me say this to all the families that are listening to this broadcast. You know you got some dysfunctional, crazy people in your family. Get them some help.
Yep.
Don't look the other way and Uncle Bobo, you kind of crazy, but he ain't gonna hurt nobody.
Right. Yep.
Cousin Wee, he crazy, always walking around with a gun, but cause he's scared. That's a dangerous person.
Absolutely.
Okay,
Absolutely.
he's scared. He's got a gun.
And that's the first line of awareness that there's a problem. Family.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
good
You
stuff.
know, look, it's a lot of battered wives in the police department that they don't say because they don't want them to lose that paycheck,
Right,
you know. So that is the first line of awareness, you
exactly.
know. And that being said, because we can go on and on, I appreciate you guys coming out, checking us out right here on Street News Now, the Noon Report. I'm Dr. Ron, and that is Lee Michaels. He is the founder and creator of Street News Now. And if you would like to be a broadcaster on this network, please reach out to any of the administrative staff. Tell them, say, hey, I want to, chop up an hour, half hour. I want to come on here and express myself. No matter what your call of duty would be or whatever your purpose would be, just reach out. There's a lot of hours in the day that we can fill on Street News Now. So I encourage you to reach out. Now, I know last week Lee said he was going to make it easier for that process to happen. Were you able to get that done?
I forgot, but I'm go to newsnow.com and there'll be a link on there today that it'll be a form to fill out. Your name, phone number, email address, your idea, what the ideal time is for the show that you want to do. So that way we can put a schedule together and not have conflicts. and make it happen.
And first come, first serve.
Yes,
So if
sir.
you want to come on after my show at 1 o'clock, you better get in there, because this show is running a little bit over today, but the target time is 30 minutes. But when you have passionate things to say, it goes over a little bit.
Yeah.
But because I know the guy over there, he let me run over time a little bit every now and then, that's all right. But I just want to encourage you, don't be afraid. Come on out here. Let's make this thing work. We got a whole network, and you can't have anybody better than the legend himself, Mr. Lee Michaels, to help get it to work right.
One particular show that I'd love to see on the network is somebody out on the streets interviewing people on certain topics. It could be political, it could be entertainment, it could be anything. But talk to the people. Let the people be heard and seen. So if that's something that you would like to do, I mean, all you need is a cell phone, with a camera on it, and it can happen. You can start there. I mean, you can always get
Build.
better equipment and build from there, but start with what you have and
Absolutely.
grow it from there.
Yep. And please don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Now, I made this comment last week, and I'm going to keep doing it because I wanted to get it in everybody's head. You do not have to pay any money to subscribe.
Right.
And the reason why I'm saying that is because a young lady said, well, how much does it cost to subscribe? Nothing. Now, if you want to send Lee some money, and if you want to send me some money, you can do that. But it doesn't cost not one penny, $1 to subscribe. So please subscribe, like, and share. Tell your people about it. Tell them to come support us. We'll be here every week at noon on Wednesday. Lee may not be here, but I'm going to be here. And I promise you, I'm going to keep coming with, crazy topics, like the chicken wing lady. $1.5 million she stole in chicken wings, brother. You missed that in the beginning of the show.
Yeah, I missed that. Was she eating? Or?
No, she was a food service manager. Just for a recap, for those that came late, she's a food service manager for a school district in Harvey, Illinois, school district 152. And they are blaming her for $1.5 million worth of food that's missing, mostly chicken wings.
So go to Harold's Chicken and you'll find the damn wing.
All right. Look, y'all, we love you. Peace and love. See y'all on next week.
Love you. Bye.